today I was on YouTube and I was searching for inspiration, and I was like, there's gotta be something out there. And I was blindly searching for inspiration. I was literally like, what are we gonna do in 2025? Like, what is something dope to do? And I had no idea what it was. And then I landed on this girl's video, Frankie, Frankii2. And she's just like bringing the 75 hard challenge into the YouTube space. And I was like, oh my God, I love this, because I did 75 hard last year for fitness and health and wellness. Though I didn't complete it. I got close, but I didn't complete it. And I was like, cool, that was fun. It pushed me to a limit. And I also learned what I liked and disliked. And then in a sense of content creation and pulled it into this, I was like, I've always wanted to monetize my YouTube channel. And something that I love to do is talk to camera, because it essentially allows me to share the knowledge and wisdom of being a full-time creative, and the lessons, the challenges, the hardships, like all the shit that I've been through. This is a great spot just to put it out there. And even in creating this video, this is probably like my 6th take, and I'm like, there's the perfectionist coming in. And that's something that I'm really, really striving to let go of in 2025. It's the perfectionist. And even that, like, I would be like, oh no, we got to restart this video. And it's so funny to see stuff like that. I was just like, does that really matter? No. Does it matter to me? Yes. Why? Well, I don't know why, but I don't want it to matter anymore. So what I want to do this year is this 75 hard challenge for YouTube of creating talk to camera videos. Because I think something very, very powerful that I've done with my life is I've left a job full-time as a nurse and became a full-time creative. And literally I got a bio degree, a nursing degree. I dropped out of nurse practitioner school, and somehow I'm a full-time creative. And I've been doing this for the last 6 years, where the last 3 years I really got good at it. And I've been creating a ton of marketing content for brands. And in doing so, I've learned what works in the branding and marketing space. I know how to build a brand. I love to build brands. And now I'm building a brand. As you see, I got a ton of boxes over here. It's called Weekender Collective. It's dope, but we're taking everything I've learned as a content marketing creative and applying it to that brand. And it's been really fun, because essentially it's pulling me out of the space of creating for others. And now essentially the way I see it is like, they paid me to learn. And from what I've learned, now I'm creating this with, well, not this, but that, but I'm applying this into it, because I think one of the coolest things that I've done is stepped out of that lifestyle of the 9-to-5 of working a paycheck job and just like, whoop, I'm a creative. And I had no film school. Like, I had no camera besides like a Nikon Coolpix, like shooting for the fair. I did win state fair in photography, but I never thought I could be a full-time creative. And then got a random push from the universe, took a leap of faith. 6 years later, I have a fully sustained lifestyle for creating content, much of which this last year has led me to burnout. And now I'm like, how can we recreate this? Because I went from a life of not having freedom to creating a life of freedom. And then in creating a life of freedom, my business scaled this past year, and it went from something that provided a lot of freedom for me into something that I became a slave in. And then on that process, I was like, oh boy, now we're a slave to this. And it burned me out several times this whole past year. Burnout is the one word, or you could say transformation, because I'm transforming from that. But burnout was like the theme of 2024. And it was because I was trying to do everything myself. So then, like, for even instance this year, what I've been doing is, I know I'm good at landing jobs, I'm good at closing jobs, and I'm good at marketing and selling, content. So I was like, well, that seems to be the hard spot in business. It's not fulfilling the work, it's finding the work, and then fulfilling it is the easy part. So what I'm trying to do this year is, number one, scale up my business, byCHRIS, byCHRIS.io, and essentially hiring videographers and editors to fulfill the work for me, and allowing myself to act as a creative director, because a lot of my focus is going to be on Weekender Collective. I have 2,000 shirts here that I'm looking to sell, but we're also approaching it as not a clothing brand, but a lifestyle company that creates freedom for people, a freedom of time, freedom of obligation, freedom to pursue personal interests, freedom to travel whenever they want and work from wherever they want. And in doing so, like, I'm also creating that solution for myself, because as I just told you, like, what I created freedom for myself created I became the slave to it. And I'm like, how did this happen? But even in the essence of it all, it's taught me so many lessons. And even being a full-time creative, it's taught me so many lessons. And that's what I think is the most valuable thing I can share with people is, I'm somebody who has leaped from the 9-to-5 into being a full-time entrepreneur, a full-time creative. And then in building that, I became a slave to my own system. And now I'm unslaving myself from something powerful that I built. And then in doing so, I'm creating something else. But it's fun. And I think anybody watching this channel, I'm going to have a ton of advice and knowledge to share with you of how to become a full-time creative. And don't even think of the word creative as somebody behind the camera. You know, like, you can create services, you can create experiences, you can create whatever you want in this world if you're willing to do the actions to build it. And like, for even instance, this past year, like, do I like to be burnt out? No, but I understood what I needed to do, what actions it took, how much of my time was needed in order to build myself out of a solution I've created. And that is endlessly what I was focusing on. It was like, not how much energy I had, not how much, you know, lack of motivation, how burnt out I was. It was literally just like this, like, we're here, how do we get to here? And then how much time every day can I work on something to get to here, which I think is a really good point to like really finish this video with. It's like, if you're stuck here and you're trying to get to here, the one thing we all have is time. And if you're willing to spend 1 to 2 hours a day working towards a goal and you're not focused on how it unfolds, you will find success in it. When? I don't know, because even in business and going through what I have, a big part of it is luck. And there's people around me that are way luckier than I am. And, you know, there's times that I'm working way harder than other people and I'm not as lucky as them. And I'm like, what's going on? But it's essentially, the thing that works is consistency. Consistency is always going to win. Whether you're doing it 1 to 2 hours a day for 10 days, you know, 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, 365 days, you're going to start to see the efforts pay off over time with consistency, rather than like dropping one dope YouTube video every month or every 6 months. You know what I mean? It's just the consistency. And then the hardest thing I think that people have from starting is like, how do we start? Like, even in starting this, I'm like, what do I talk about? How do I introduce myself? How do I give all my accolades that somebody would watch and, you know, validate that they want to listen to me? And then I'm like, why are you trying to perfect this? You have no idea what you're doing. So just start doing something, apply some effort to it, be consistent with it, and see what happens. Because the more stuff you create, the more stuff you put out there, the more stuff that you simply just do with the mindset of being curious and experimenting, you're going to get all the answers when you post it. You're going to see when people drop off. You're going to see what people are interested in. You're going to see what people aren't interested in. And you can't view it as like a pass and a failure. You have to view it as an experiment, and you're always learning from it. And if you take the feedback and the information that you learn from it and you apply it to the next, you're going to get better every day. Like, it's inevitable. Like, you will get better, and you'll continually just create something dope, and then you'll get momentum, you'll get a system, you'll get a process. And then before you know it, you've created a solution to your own problem. And then also what you've created is going to be a solution to other people's problems. And that's how you build a community. That's how you get people watching your content. And then before you know it, your YouTube channel is monetized, or whatever you've created is making you money. Because essentially, like, that's been my path to being a full-time creative. Is like, I just picked up a camera, I started filming, I got my first client, then I started landing too many clients, and then I had to charge more, and then they started saying no a lot more. But then I figured out working with less people for more was better for me and my energy. And then before you know it, I'm like, all right, editing takes up all my time, so I need to get an editor. But then I'm also like, what if we get a better videographer who can edit? And then we can scale up our product because we're really good at selling it and landing it. And then before you know it, like, boom, you built something that is fully sustaining your lifestyle and so forth. So yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you got some value out of it. I'm going to be diving into, I don't know, we're going to let time decide that in the future, but I really just want to share a bunch of valuable information, the path that I've walked as a creative, and then even in building brands of things I've done that work, things I did that didn't work, and so forth. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out the next one, subscribe to it, follow, whatever you want to do, because there's going to be a ton of value here for you. And that's what I really intend to create in 2025. Peace.